Welcome to the City of Battle Creek, Michigan, and this Battle Creek City Commission meeting for May 20th, 2025. It is 7:02 p.m. We're ready to begin our meeting. We're going to start off by having a moment of silence, and then I'm going to call upon Commissioner Lacoste to lead us in the pledge to this evening. Would you please stand if you're able to for a moment of silence, and then the pledge by Commissioner Lacoste. Commissioner Lacoste.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I want to start out by thanking everyone for being here tonight. It's a very nice crowd. We haven't seen something like this in a long time, so we appreciate it a lot. All right, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kotarski-Smith? Here. Commissioner Lacoste?
Here.
Commissioner Lance?
Yes.
Commissioner Morris?
Here.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Here.
Commissioner Reynolds?
Present.
Commissioner Simmons?
Here.
Vice Mayor Sophia? Here. And Mayor Banky?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda is a presentation by Ron Slagle from the President and CEO of the Emergent Health Partners. Ron, did they tell you it's a 3-minute presentation?
No, that was...
No, that's,
Yeah,
I've got the wrong agenda. Sorry about that. All right. Proclamations and awards. We have beautiful Battle Creek Awards. Ted, can you call out who's here?
Certainly will do. We have one this evening, Mayor, from NPC 11, Ward 4. We have Jason and Heather Augenstein from 656 Morningside Drive. Jason right here.
Do we have the residents from Morningside Drive? Yes, come on up here. Now, when I was a young man, I grew up on Morningside Drive because that was the next neighborhood over. Tell me about your beautiful property and how you revitalized it.
Oh, it's all her. I just worked there. Yeah. We tore out some trees and she got some nice landscaping out and flowers and stuff. And so,
For the bees.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank
And
you.
this is the right time for these?
We're starting.
Okay, that's what I thought. For what, the next 2 or 3 weeks?
Oh, they're going to be here all year. So
All right,
cut
so
back in the
besides
spring.
the bees, what else do you have that sold your neighbors on nominating you?
Well, where they dug up everything, you took a newer picture. There were tulips and daffodils all right here. I mowed them over because the deer got them and then the frost did as well. But it'll be a lot prettier in the summer. But that's a perennial garden. And like I said, we've got some holes and such right by the road. So they want.
Good. Well, Jason and Heather, we say thank you very much. Congratulations. And believe it or not, people see the work that you're doing, and it encourages them to do more.
Jason, I got your messages.
We have a proclamation for National Public Works Week. Do we have any DPW members, or are they out working tonight? Nope, we have a couple here. Todd's here. Good. I see Betsy. Todd, can you give us a lowdown, or Perry Hart, on what's going to take place?
For the national, do we have anything planned? Well, yeah, because of the weather. Yeah. 4th. So yeah, June 4th will be the DPW open house, weather permitting. My groups are just working on trees and all the storm cleanup right now. I don't know, this is our new assistant city engineer, Tad McCrum, too. Took the role on Monday. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank all of our DPW workers, our National Public Works Week. On behalf of the citizens, we say thank you for the work that you do, your profession, and we appreciate you very much. So Ted's going to take a picture, and I'm going to present this. Thank you, Ted. God bless you, everyone. Thanks. Remaining agenda item. If you'd like to make public comment regarding any remaining agenda item, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You will have 4 minutes to make your comments. Please state your name and address before beginning your comment and indicate which agenda item you are speaking to. If you're looking to make a comment on the public hearing, that time will be coming up on the next agenda item. Now, I know there's probably a lot of people here for one particular subject, so if we can condense some of the comments, we'll just save a lot of time, and I'm trying to be as humble and respectful as possible. So, at this period of time, is there any public comment? Yes, Autumn Smith.
Autumn Smith, Battle Creek. I gave you guys all a packet and the clerk, and that's what I'm speaking to, Resolution 132. I'm here to raise a serious concern about the repeated and unacceptable lack of transparency demonstrated by the Battle Creek Police Department and the city in their handling of recent FOIA requests, specifically related to their use of the Signal messaging app. I submitted a FOIA request 25-1183 seeking records pertaining to the use of Signal by members of the Battle Creek Police Department. That request was met with a flat denial, claiming no such records or usage existed. However, I am standing here today with direct evidence in my possession that Signal chats that clearly show communication involving members of the department. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's not an issue of miscommunication or a technicality. This is a lie, a direct contradiction of fact, and more importantly, it is a violation of the public's trust. This is now the second time in just 1 month that a FOIA request I submitted was wrongfully denied, despite the city knowing or having the means to know the responsive documents do exist. The existence of records that I already hold in my hands, we're no longer talking about a clerical error or oversight. We are talking about a willful failure of integrity, a conscious choice to obstruct transparency. The Freedom of Information Act exists to ensure accountability and preserve public trust. It is not optional. It is not a courtesy. It is the law. And when the department within the city lies twice about the existence of public records, it raises serious questions about what else is being concealed and why. Furthermore, Signal is known for its encrypted and disappearing messages. If the Battle Creek Police Department is using the platform for its official communications, that is a major red flag. It raises legitimate concerns about the evasion of record-keeping laws, potential misconduct, and destruction of public records. Any attempt to circumvent FOIA through encrypted, auto-deleting messages undermines public oversight and is illegal. This is a moment of reckoning for this commission. I am asking, no, I am demanding that you investigate this issue with the seriousness it deserves. Public servants do not get to operate in the shadows. The people of Battle Creek deserve transparency, honesty, accountability, especially from those entrusted with enforcing the law. I request that the City Commission instruct the City Manager and FOIA Coordinator to immediately reevaluate this FOIA denial, to produce the responsive records that were falsely denied, and to provide an explanation to the public about why this happened twice. Let me be clear, this is not just about one app or one document. This is about the credibility of an entire system, and right now that credibility is in question. I have also attached, if you guys are so certain that these documents do not exist, a signed sworn affidavit I'm asking you guys to all sign under penalty of perjury that these Signal application messages do not exist. I've also included the Signal chats, old DB group, that means Detective Bureau. The names of the officers in the chat: Chris Rabbit, Josh Chapman, Ben Clark, Stephanie Estrie, Trevor Graveth, Mike Harrison, Trevor Horde, Brandon Huggett, Jamie LaPratt, Aaron Smith, Tyler Sutherland, Tom Weirbraw, and they're being told to delete them. It's called DB Chat Delete. And then there's new DB Chat. And Chris Rabbit and Trevor Horde are the ones adding the people to and from the chats. Again, I ask, if you guys are so confident in your FOIA denial that these don't exist, none of you should have a problem signing an affidavit that I included in this packet under penalty of perjury. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. If you would be so kind to refrain from clapping, it would make me a lot happier, please. Are there any other public comments? Yes, Joe.
Joe Harris, Battle Creek. Some of you may remember that about a month ago when there was a motion to fly the organ donor flag, that even though I said I supported it, the organ donor ideology, that I was against flying the flag. And that was due in part to a Supreme Court decision from 2022. I have been consistent in my stance in regard to any type of flag flying out front other than our United States flag, our state flag, and our city flag. And I have the article from July of 2023. It's from the Courthouse News Service. It talks just a little bit about the case. And I'm going to put that in here. But the bottom line is that in Boston, there is a gentleman who wanted to fly a Christian flag. In June, the council had voted to fly the pride flag for a month, and he wanted to fly a Christian flag, and he was denied. Now, I know what the city's policy is, okay, and I will tell you that whether you agree with me or not, the policy is, in all actuality, still very discriminatory, because it takes only a certain amount of people to make a decision on whether to bring a certain flag to the table. There is what they call a notion of fairness to this whole issue. And I'm just going to give some examples, and understand I'm not advocating for anything that I'm going to say, but I mean, look at the future and what this could pose. What if we have an individual that wants to fly a Confederate flag because they have a Confederate heritage? What if we have somebody that wants to fly a satanic flag? What if we have somebody that wants to fly a Nazi flag? And I'm not saying I agree with any of that. I'm just throwing out these things out there. Because and understand, as I said, I've been consistent with all of this. What you have to do for one, you have to do for another. It's just the bottom line. The flagpole out there, in my opinion, is not for any one type of promotion of ideology or viewpoint or anything like that. But the commission needs to understand that what you do on one hand, you're going to have to do for the other hand, or it's called viewpoint discrimination. That's what the whole basis of that ruling was in the Supreme Court, was viewpoint discrimination. And you're going down that slope. And I've been consistent with my stance. You all know this. And so my suggestion is that, this is just me, take some courage, vote against this, and vote against any group, organization that wants to fly flags in the future. The only flag that should be out there is the United States flag, state flag, city flag, and it's all because those are government-oriented flags. That's it. So thank you for your time. I'm going to put this article in the basket for you guys to review. If we could put that on the record, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments at this time? Yes. Trustee Leonard.
Ryan Leonard, Battle Creek, Michigan. Sorry for touching the microphone. I didn't read that until after I had touched it.
Wasn't it not big enough?
Well, I'm really having trouble saying. So good evening, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I come before you today not in anger, but in sincere concern regarding the proposed resolution to fly the pride flag outside City Hall during the month of July. While I respect the dignity of every individual in our community, I believe this action oversteps the role of government and moves us into territory that is best left to private expression. City Hall belongs to every citizen of Battle Creek, regardless of their background, beliefs, or identity. When we choose to fly a flag that represents a specific social or political movement, we risk giving the impression that the city is officially endorsing one viewpoint over others. That can be deeply alienating to residents who hold different perspectives, and it sets a precedent that may lead to increasing division rather than unity. Many of us are concerned not because we reject individuals who identify with the LGBTQ+ community. We believe in treating all people with kindness and respect, but because we believe the government's role is to remain neutral in cultural and ideological debates, our flagpoles should reflect that neutrality, flying only those symbols that unite us as one people: the United States flag, the Michigan state flag, and our city's own emblem. We live in a country that protects the freedom of speech and association, and private citizens and organizations are absolutely free to express support for Pride Month and other causes. But when the city takes a side, it is no longer neutral. It sends a message, however unintended, that the beliefs of some residents are officially endorsed while the beliefs of others are not. Let's be a community where everyone is treated with respect and where the government remains a space for all people, not a platform for select ideologies. Commissioners, I urge you to stand strong, hold firm, and do not let fear sway the way you vote on this resolution tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments? Yes, ma'am. Third row, purple shirt. Yes.
Hello, my name is Elliot Barrett, and I live at 78 Woodward Avenue here in Battle Creek. I wanted to talk today as a lifelong citizen of Battle Creek about my life as a queer person here and both the tremendous support I've received and the tremendous hate I have received. I believe that when it comes to expressing support for members of the LGBT community, it's important not just because of those of us who are out and proud standing here in this room, but for those who aren't and are sitting at home wondering. It's important for those who aren't queer and who may have questions, and seeing this flag might open up their minds. I think that it's really easy to fall into a slippery slope fallacy where we believe that just because we do one thing, we must do another. That's not how government works, and you all know that. You can vote on one thing and you can vote no on the other. What you have to do is about your beliefs for what's best for all of Battle Creek citizens, not what you must do based on some former ruling. I think also it's important to remember what we're talking about here is a protected class, and that other things such as Nazism are not protected classes and should not be flown at all. And I think that 99.9% of Battle Creek at the least would agree with that. I would also like to mention that it's important to also not fall into another fallacy, which is tolerance of intolerance. Just because we must be tolerant of all people does not mean we need to be tolerant of their intolerance towards others. If we accept every single belief and every single view, we will cause harm to those around us. When somebody's belief is that they would like to live their life freely and make the choices they want to make, we should allow them to do so. If somebody's belief is that somebody else should not be allowed to live their life freely and make the choices they wish to make, that's not something that I believe I have to respect. As somebody who has dreams of one day buying a home here and staying with my beautiful girlfriend, finding a safe space where we can get married and have a family one day, I ask that we make sure Battle Creek stays safe for us. And seeing things like a pride flag are public notions that I will be safe on the street, especially as someone who, as a child, and one of the first people to come out in my school district, I was harassed, bullied, and eventually sexually assaulted by kids who did not see things like pride flags, who were not allowed to see posters for our GSA because we were banned from them. We've come a long way since then, and I hope we can move a long way forward as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Yes, David?
I have to talk on the flags. I said this a number of times. I had 3 top flags, the American, the state, and the city. And I like to, we have a lot of places you see around this country, other flags around it. I have the 3 main flags and the other organization flags around it. I think all of the flags could be out there all at one time. And I support this for something like that be done. We just have maybe one a month, or just, we're out there in Arlington and some over there in Washington. They got the 3 American, state, and city, and the other flags scattered around it. And I think something I'd like to see here in Battle Creek. Have them all out there. I support most flags, and there's a good purpose behind all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Any other comments? Yes.
Hello, I'm Jaden Smith from Battle Creek County, Calhoun County. I just wanted to say that trans people, gay people have always existed and they will continue to exist. And we can choose to be on the right side of history and support them and bring them in a safe environment. Sorry, this is off script. Or we can choose to be on the other side where we continue to say no and we continue to isolate ourselves from new beginnings, new opportunities. Without progression in Battle Creek, how do we expect to bring in new jobs, bring in new people, bring in new families? We have to be open to accepting everybody here. And if we're not going to accept everybody here, then why are we, excuse me. Again, trans people will continue to exist. You can either hide from it or you can come to the stage and be proud of the people that we have around us. America is a melting pot. I think we should embrace it instead of hiding from our true opportunity to become the best country in the world. If we're not going to invite everybody to the stand, how can we give ourselves the same opportunity? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. In the same row, ma'am? Right.
Hello, Crystal Martinez, technically Penfield, but Battle Creek. I'm here to speak in support of flying the pride flag over City Hall during the month of July. This isn't just about raising a flag, it's base level. It's about raising voices for equality, visibility, and belonging. Fair is not equal, it's what everybody needs. So flying every flag is not what equality is. The pride flag is a powerful symbol. It stands for the LGBTQ+ community's long and ongoing fight for dignity, safety, and equal rights. By flying it over City Hall, we're not just acknowledging the history of that struggle, we're also affirming that every person in this city is valued and supported, no matter who they are or who they love. City Hall represents all of us. We just heard that from someone else. And when we choose to fly the pride flag, we send a clear message that inclusion matters, that diversity is our strength, and that this city is committed to standing against hate and discrimination in all forms. This world could do with a lot less hate. For LGBTQ+ youth in particular, visibility matters. Seeing their city publicly support them can be life-changing. It can be life-saving. It tells them that they are seen, accepted, and have a future here. We also heard that. Another person wants to make a future here and continue. without shame, fear, or silence. Working in our city's public schools, I know our children need to see they are supported. Some will say that flying the flag is political. Some will counter, why not the KKK flag? That was a question last year, and I did expect to hear it from someone tonight. The answer to that is obvious, and the question embarrassing. The KKK flag stands for hate, discrimination, and the murder of people different from you. The pride flag, love, acceptance, human rights. If that angers you, you are the problem, not they, them. Love, acceptance, and human rights should be nonpartisan. Pride Month honors the courage of those who fought for rights, those who have been marginalized, and those who continue to push for justice today. Be on the right side of history. Fly the pride flag, not just as a celebration, as a promise. A promise that this city stands for equality, for respect, and for love. I ask this council to be brave and vote yes. In a world where you may get knocked down for standing up, dust yourself off and keep standing up. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I ask you not to clap, please. This is a business meeting. I'll rule you out of order if you clap. All right? Kathy Antea.
Thank you. Commissioners, members of the audience, I'm here actually to speak on 4 resolutions, hopefully really quick. Love the timer. Resolution 87, response time should not be the main metric used to evaluate emergency response ambulance services. I did a little research about that and found out there are a lot of different ways that we could evaluate them. I'm sorry I missed the workshop today if you already covered this. However, more important is patient outcomes, of course, and just in reviewing the available data regarding our current ambulance service, I noticed that the response times for our most densely populated areas are excellent. That also, those densely populated areas, the east side, Post Addition, as well as the north side, also generate the greatest number of emergency calls. So kudos for the ambulance service for doing that. Resolution 129. Flying the pride flag over City Hall is not about philosophy, it's not about ideology, it's not about history. These are real live people that are in our families, in our neighborhoods, in our churches, in our communities. And I think recognizing and uplifting these members of our community, us, the LGBTQ plus community, is imperative for Battle Creek to show its strength, especially in the idea that by being diverse, we are stronger. So I am definitely in support of flying that flag. In addition, what she said, holy smokes, I hope you guys were listening really carefully because the last speaker really hit the nail on the head. Resolution 131, seeking approval of the social district. Just in case y'all were thinking something weird, please pass that. That social district idea is fabulous, and I am really glad that we're looking to renew that designation. And then finally, Resolution 132. I think that Autumn Smith's comments raised some questions, and that I am respectfully asking that we look closer at those concerns that she has. If she has printed documents from the Signal chat, I really think that we need to look at that, because I wasn't happy when I found out my federal government was using that, because it erases documentation of actions taken by governments. And if we're currently using it for official police business, I have a bit of a problem with that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, in the second to last row, there's, yes. Yes, you.
Good evening, Charlie Fulbright, 312 Capitol Avenue Northeast, Battle Creek, Michigan. I'm tired. Why do I always have to lead the fight? Anytime someone says anything anti-gay or anti-trans, I have to jump in. I've marched, I've donated time and money, I've planned, I've knocked on doors, I've made phone calls, I've had healthy debates with someone who thinks completely opposite of me as to why I exist matters. I've educated people about lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer topics. I've mourned, I've felt defeated, and I've celebrated. Today, May 20th, is my 19th wedding anniversary with my husband, Chris. I'm tired. Every time I think we're moving forward and Charlie can be his fabulous pink-wearing, glitter-loving self, someone calls me the F word, or even worse, someone with power, someone who can vote on something that means something to me and my chosen family will vote no on raising a pride flag for the month of July. I'm tired. I don't want to defend myself every turn I make. I don't want to have to come up every year and explain why I matter and why it's important. I want a day off. But then I realize that every 2 years, there's new commissioners, and I have to do it all over again. Even with old commissioners, I have to state my case every year, and we end up getting the same no vote without any explanation, without any reaching out to me as to why they voted no.
Charlie, please direct your comments to me, all right?
Copy that. I'm tired. Fighting for justice never gets a day off. I encourage you all to please vote yes for raising the pride flag for the month of July. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, in the back row. If you're in the back row and you got your hand up, you can come up.
Good evening. Pastor Janet Wilson of Battle Creek, pastor of Christ United Methodist Church. I am honored to be the leader of a faith community that believes deeply that all people are created in God's image and includes all people in the full life of our church and our denomination in witness and service and worship and leadership. I speak in support of Resolution 129 to fly the pride flag, not only for those reasons, but I think as a flag flown within the governmental body of our community, it sends a symbol that all people are invited to be a full part of our civic life, of our community, in the same type of way. The LGBTQ plus community are already part of our life. They're part of our work, our school, family, neighborhood, and community life in so many ways. And I think letting them know that we are proud, that they are a part of the Battle Creek community, and then they are invited to be a full part of that community is a valuable and important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. In the back row, yes.
Good evening, Dina Spencer, 34 Bradley Street, Battle Creek. I am before you today as the president of Battle Creek Pride, and I am asking for a couple things. First, I want to say thank you for listening to us tonight. Secondly, I'm incredibly grateful that this is even part of our city government, as I was the person that brought this forward and got this on the books for you all to vote on a few years back. I've been running Battle Creek Pride and a part of Battle Creek Pride since 2011. I've put in thousands, probably 10,000 hours or more of volunteer time advocating for our community. And we are not a social movement. We are not a political statement. We are not just a fun little group having a good time with some fun little beliefs. We are people with feelings. We are people that are scared. We are people that are being targeted. We are people that need your help. We are people that live and help run this city, quite frankly, in all different aspects. Flying that flag gives us that visibility, gives us that peace knowing that we're safe in your care and in your government. When we call the police for help, when we seek help from the City Commission, seek help from City Hall for different things, different departments within the city. And that also sends a message to our partners within the city, doing the nonprofit work, as business owners, as just different people serving all of us. For those of you that have passed this in the past, thank you. I hope you will do it again this year. I know there's opposition every year. There's going to be. I don't know why each of us has to oppose one another. What I do in my personal life really doesn't have any bearing what the rest of you all do. So I'm not sure what this opposition is every year. And like Charlie, I'm tired. This is exhausting work. And it's meaningful work. And I will do it forever until I don't have to do it anymore, which is probably never going to be the case. So thank you for listening. Please vote yes on this flag resolution, and I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. The person with the flag, do you want to come up? No? All right. Is there anyone on this side of the room? Yes, Russ.
Thank you, Mayor Benke, Vice Mayor Sophia. My name is Russ Claggett, 162 Orchard Avenue, Battle Creek, Michigan. I'm here to speak on Resolution 129. This country is incredibly divided. As much as that flag, the American flag out there, stands for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all Americans, there are many laws in this country that discriminate against people who are part of the LGBTQ community. And until that flag can speak for them, I think it's important that this community raises a pride flag so that the people in that community know that Battle Creek still welcomes them, that this community is a welcoming community, so that until that American flag includes everyone, they know that they're welcome here. So I would ask that everyone in this room that is here in support of Resolution 129, please stand.
Thank you very much, Russ.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. All right. Yes, gentleman right here in the front in the green hooded sweatshirt.
Good evening. Robert Elkert. Full confession, I live in Kalamazoo, but you all know that I'm
That's
the
all
executive.
right. You're allowed to be.
Am I allowed to continue? I love Battle Creek. I really do. In fact, I'm more a part of this community than my home community in Kalamazoo, just because of the nature of the work that I do. Many of you know I'm the executive director of the Share Center here in Battle Creek. And I just want to thank Commissioner Morris for introducing the legislation, the resolution, Mayor Benke and Commissioner Lance for their support. I just want to point out that there's nothing in this request, in this resolution, that violates the city's commemorative flag policy. It's not an expression of a third party or a religious movement. It certainly does not promote discrimination and prejudice. In fact, it does just the opposite. In no way does it equate to a Nazi flag or a Confederate flag or any other symbol of hate. It is a symbol of love and acceptance. And the resolution itself states the rainbow pride flag promotes a symbol of inclusion, not division, and sends a positive message to young people in our community that says, irrespective of your sexual orientation or your gender identity and expression, you are safe, valued, empowered, and supported by your peers and your community leaders. This is the same language that was used in resolutions that were previously passed by the City Commission, and if it passed back then, I think it should pass now. We're at a time especially where it's even more important as transgender individuals are being denied the opportunity to even serve their own country. I think now is the time to show as much support for this community as possible. And the Share Center certainly serves a lot of people from the LGBTQ plus community. They've experienced discrimination, bigotry, hatred, and ignorance. And in many cases, this is what led to their homelessness, mental health, and addiction issues. It would help them and so many others from the LGBTQ plus community to know that their city supports them. In summary, I believe the city should follow its own precedent and again show their support for the LGBTQ plus communities by passing this resolution and flying the flag in July. In doing so, the city has an opportunity to reaffirm its support of people who often face discrimination, disenfranchisement, and other challenges. It is a commitment to serving and supporting all members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Tommy. Sorry.
Okay, as a lot of y'all know, I am a transgender person. I am also a Vietnam vet, amongst other things. And I believe the flag should fly, the pride flag should fly, but because so many people have it against it, why not add another flagpole? It would solve the problem all over, and thank you for that. But it might be helpful, and then you can fly any other flag you want to on there. As long as it's not, the top is not above the American flag. And as I got a sign on my yard that says, transgender veteran, I fought for your right to hate me.
Thank you, Tommy. All right. Yes. Phoenix.
Yeah, I like the timer, and I also, wasn't it 3 minutes before we got an upgrade? When I got here, Mark asked me, Mr. Mayor, if I didn't have anything better to do tonight. And what possibly thing could I do that's better than to come out and see my friends, and take part in the democratic process? That is something that I think we all have a responsibility to do. If we lived in a world where people weren't discriminated against, weren't abused, weren't killing themselves because of something over which they have no control, we wouldn't need the pride flag. We wouldn't need the pride flag to remind everyone that we care, that we have compassion, that we are good and decent people. And I just wanted to remind everyone that that's where I stand. And I'm also, I just wanted to comment, I'm grateful that we have a group of young people here who are getting a chance to observe all of this.
Thank you, Phoenix, for your
Thank
comments. Yes, Ron.
Ron Slagle, CEO for Life Care Ambulance. Something I failed to mention in the workshop earlier this evening. As you know, the city hired a national consultant to come in and look at police, fire, and EMS, and one of their recommendations was to relax the response time standard for the ambulance. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, sir.
I'm Steve Jankowski, Yieldrich Drive. You know, I've done a whole lot of this. Thank you. Good evening. I've done a lot of this speaking, and I used to show up with some really good stuff on my notepad. But I have to say, you've heard from somebody tonight that just, I'm in awe. This gentleman right here, this was good stuff. That's for real. And when you were asked to rise a little while ago to check the numbers in the room, pretty potent stuff, huh?
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else? Yes.
Wow, that's quite a journey. Good evening, everyone. Commissioners, Mayor Benke. My name is Esther Leonard, Kistler Road, Battle Creek. And I just wanted to remind everyone of a couple weeks ago, we, as a community, we had a loss. We had a service member who was laid to rest in our Fort Custer Cemetery. And I was so proud of our community that day. I think probably all of us enjoyed seeing the unity and the reverence, really, of so many different walks of lives coming together under that American flag. And what we saw was all different denominations of churches were outside, all the different schools, all the people that compete on the different fields. They were all there to honor that gentleman coming back to Battle Creek. It was very beautiful. I had the honor of being in the cemetery very close to where they do the interment ceremony. I was not family, so I was not part of that, but I could hear the speech and what was said by the family members and that sort of thing. The faith that was represented was not my own. There were many alternative walks of life there, many that are represented here in this room. In fact, I think many of these same people were there. And you know what? I stood there with my American flag because they deserved their time. They deserved to say their piece with the minister that they chose that was a religion that was not my religion. And that's where I'm coming from. Our American flag protects everyone. I come with a heart of love for everybody. I don't care what everybody does in their own space, but our American flag protects everyone's right to do what they do. So I would ask you to allow only the American flag at the top and then our state and city flag in a heart of admiration and respect for everybody in the room. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, in the back row.
Good evening, Pam McCoy, Albion, Michigan, here on behalf of Battle Creek Pride as Vice President. I have spent in the last week 2 occasions talking a transgender person off a cliff. Their government is dissolving their marriages. They're threatening every aspect of their life every day. Until that American flag leaves my friends' marriages alone and respects them as human beings, both government and in their workplace. One is harassed daily, every day that they go to work. We need to do better, and we need to show that the city of Battle Creek is welcoming, safe, and this government cares. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Does that wrap it up? Any other public comments? Yes, John. And we'll go to the gentleman over here in the left.
John Kennevic, 234 South Avenue. When this originally was proposed, I stood up here and I said I was against this, not because of gay pride or anything of that nature. I realized that once you open the door, and a lot of people say that this is not going to happen, somebody's going to come forth and come up with a flag, and you're going to turn it down. And then there's going to get an attorney, and there's going to be a lawsuit. This is in the future. Anybody here that believes in certain things are free to fly their flag on their own property until the government passes a law saying you can't, or well, let's tax the hell out of it. Not that long ago, I presented to the City Commission a flag that I designed. Did it have anything to do with straight people? No. Did it have to do with gay people? No. Did it have to do with one color or another color? No. It was based on an enhanced concept of the old symbol of Battle Creek, which was a frontiersman rifle striking an Indian, and an Indian was going in defense. I thought that was an interesting thing, so what I did is I had those things removed, and on one side where the frontiersman was, I had 9 people, and they were all carrying firearms, and they were pointing at the other people, which were the citizens of Battle Creek. Some of those people were women, some people were black, some of them were white. I didn't discriminate. I thought that flag should be flown, and knew that it wasn't going to be, and rejected by you, Mayor, simply to show what government does to everybody in the city of Battle Creek by intimidation and basically swindles and things of that nature, which are approved by the City Commission. It was a threat against all citizens, and that's what its purpose. It was rejected. Not a problem. If I decide to put that flag on my property, I will, just like the people here. But when you have a flag that will open the door for everything to come in down the road, then you're having a problem. Second resolution has to do with Autumn Smith. Autumn Smith came up here and she said that you're denying me my right to seek evidence, information created by the government of Battle Creek. She was denied that request. Federal government and it's not coming from me this time, so. Anyway, we use the Freedom of Information Act to bring the problems that happen within all levels of government. That's its purpose. She's being denied that request. If it exists, it's supposed to be there. But let's put a blanket out there. Let's make sure that everything is national security or government security or Calhoun County security or city government security. We don't want people to know this. At that point, you have already been censors. You did take an oath of office to defend the Constitution and the Freedom of Information Act, which you denied Autumn Smith here today. You might have heard of a person called Abraham Lincoln. And one of his campaign things was Honest Abe. Well, many years later, under the Freedom of Information Act, well, Honest Abe was padding his checkbooks. We would only find that out later on, only when somebody did their due diligence. And we found out, even though he could be a great president, that he was also doing stuff that wasn't honest. How do we ever know that unless somebody looked into that and took the time? Maybe that's not what you want here. I wish you all the best of luck of the gay liberation, the people that are transgender. I have no problems with them. I just think that you're causing a problem, not because of what you do, but the aftermath of later on. Thank you.
Okay.
Joshua Smith, Battle Creek. I'm here to speak on the 129 resolution. I think that it is very important that you fly the flag. The one gentleman mentioned the Christian flag being flown or wanting to be flown at the one city. In regard to that, that was because the city did not have any specific policies about their flags being, or supporting the view, or being the views of the government itself. They did not have a specific policy about that, and that the flags they flew needed to be that. They didn't have that. That's why that occurred. If the city of Battle Creek does have a specific policy that the flags they fly need to share the views of the city government itself, I could see an argument for maybe not flying it. Having grown up here, I know that the prejudice goes very deep in the area, in the schools, the kids. It's not a mature thing. And all of my friends that I grew up with who have dealt with self-harm issues have left. They've just left because it was easier. They didn't want to be here. They didn't feel welcome. When you fly that flag, you tell them that they're welcome. And if you want to be a bastion of hate, I think you won't fly it. But I think if you want to be a bastion of love and acceptance and bringing more young families here to help build this city more, that you'll fly it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, is there any other public comments at this time? I am not seeing any. We're going to continue with our meeting. There's a public hearing. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This is a public hearing to receive comment on the City of Battle Creek's proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget.
Declare the public hearing open. Are there any comments? Do we have any comments? Yes, Joe.
I don't need those. Joe Harris, Battle Creek. I'll just make this brief because I've said this stuff before about budgets. Two things I would like to see, and I briefly read it. I didn't get a chance to read all of it. I would hope there would be something within the budget system so that if, like the police or the fire, if they're responsible with their budgets, if they have any monies left over, that it would not go into the general fund, but it would go into a separate fund so as to be used for like updates of equipment or buildings or something like that. Something, if they shouldn't lose the money, let's just put it that way. I would also like to see that some kind of fund be set aside or allocated for future things such as fire department updates, police updates and the like, just so that we can avoid $28.5 million bond again. We don't want that to happen again. And that's not to blame anyone up here. That was something that went back decades, and we all know that. So just some things that I would like to see. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments about our public hearing? Any other comments? Yes, John.
John Kinnifick, 234 South Avenue. I'll be very brief, probably less than a minute. There was a man named Arthur Hegney, and he followed the city commission very carefully. And he watched over the budget carefully too. And one day, while he was going through the budget, he found what was called a slush fund buried inside the budget, where money was taken from interest and other things and dumped into this account. No one knew about this except him and the people that created the situation. He brought this to the attention of his commissioner, who then brought it to the attention of the government. The slush fund was closed and disappeared. No accountability for where that money came from or it went to. He's not here to talk about that today because he passed away several years ago. But he was concerned about raiding the public treasury and games being played by the government. I often wonder what kind of budget you pass when you pass it. And one final statement. Back in 2010, when there was an economy problem in the United States and including Battle Creek, it was said by the city commission in a commission meeting that they were not going to increase taxes or costs. They passed the budget, and 3 months later you passed the tax bond schedule, which had 232 cost increases. You tell us one thing and you do the opposite, hoping that we will listen to you and believe you when you're going to do the opposite of what you say and do. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments at this time? Yes, David.
I haven't read this over too much of the budget, know a whole lot about it. One thing I'd like to see, the safety of our police and firemen and their work, and a lot of these jobs are very dangerous. I think that more concern should be in their safety. I may not always agree with them, or things like that, but I like to see them safe and see they can do their job safely. And that's much I can say for this. Wish I can say a lot more, but I like to be more focusing on the safety. We have been watching this kind of in through the year. If there's safety, that's going to be a matter of getting new policemen and get young policemen and get them interested. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments at this time on the, yes?
Good evening, Reese Atkins, 84 South 23rd Street. We're talking budgets. What I'd like to see in the budgets is, and I'm going to bring it up as I've always brought it up, is housing for and funds for people that are struggling to pay the rent. And when we do this, let's look at not putting any guidelines on these people. If they need help a second time, let's help them out so that we can decrease our homeless populations and not increase it by people having to leave their homes because they can't afford to pay the rent because they can no longer get help. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments on our public hearing? Seeing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Madam Clerk, please read the second public hearing.
This is a public hearing to receive comment on the creation of a neighborhood enterprise zone, NEZ, district inclusive of 3 parcels located at the corner of North McCamley and Van Buren Streets, generally referred to as the Van Buren parking lot.
Declare the public hearing open. Are there any public comments on this public hearing? Are there any public comments on this public hearing? Seeing none, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Next item on our agenda is the adoption of ordinance 123. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Section 294.18 of the Battle Creek Code of Ordinance was adopted on November 28, 1978, and has not been updated since then. Significant changes in technology, processes, city administration, and general best practices have made the 1978 ordinance less relevant to today's needs and contrary to many practices. This proposed ordinance amends Section 294.018 of the Battle Creek Code of Ordinances related to travel expenses.
I move to adopt ordinance 123.
Support.
Been moved and supported to adopt ordinance 123 or 2202-2025. Are there any comments by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on the adoption of ordinance 02-2025?
He's looking at it right now. It should have popped up.
Just so everyone knows, we have a new computer system and we're perfecting it tonight.
You got it.
Want to take a break? Okay, the option of ordinance 02-2025 has been approved. Thank you very much. Sure. Next item on our agenda is commission comment regarding meeting business.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
So moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Is there any item that the commission would like to discuss on the consent agenda? Seeing none, would you please vote on the consent agenda? The consent agenda has been approved. Next item on our agenda is resolution number 87, yes. Number 87 threw me off.
The City of Battle Creek desires to continue to ensure quality of life support. Pre-hospital care is available for its residents and guests. This contract shall establish an advanced life support ambulance service system that can provide ambulance patients with state-of-the-art clinical quality care and with reasonable, reliable response time standards, with the goal of providing the best possible chance of survival without disability or preventable complication to each patient. This resolution, if approved, authorizes a contract with Life Care Ambulance to provide paramedic ambulance services to the City of Battle Creek.
Move to approve resolution 87.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve resolution 87. Are there any comments by the commission? Commissioner Simmons.
So first of all, I would like to thank Ron and city staff for putting on the workshop earlier. It was very helpful for me to get a lot of questions answered. I think when our residents see this on the surface and like, oh, we're increasing the response times from 8 to 10 minutes, they think it's just we're lowering our standards. But there are so many other factors involved in this that we're not considering. And if you weren't at the workshop, you're not privy to some of the things. I recently attended, became actually a medical first responder through Kellogg Community College. And I had an opportunity during that program to engage many paramedics, EMTs in our community and learn a lot more about that and all the other factors besides just this response time. Ron briefly touched on this in the meeting, that many times, I think the limitation, you were very diplomatic to Bronson Hospital, I won't be so much. If they pick up a pediatric patient, call Bronson, nope, we're not certified to take pediatrics, go to Kalamazoo. So that takes a rig off the out of town, sends it over to Kalamazoo for that run. There are various other specialties that they are not certified for in Battle Creek, so there's a factor. There's another factor that a tremendous amount, I think 97% of the calls are non-life-threatening type calls that are certainly important, but then chew up a lot of resources within our system. So, and one of I think the most important factor that we brought up, or that was brought up this evening, is that if we're busting the response times under our current contract, that system loses valuable resources. And if we're losing valuable resources, that does no one any service in the city of Battle Creek. That takes away resources from what is truly needed. So while on the surface it sounds like we're lowering the standards, so many other factors, and this actually helps strengthen, I think, the resources. So I'm supporting this today. I wish it were we could be 6 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. It's just a matter of the realities and the many factors that the system faces in our community. Thank you.
Any other commission comments? Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to point out also about the response times. I was talking after the workshop. The police and fire department have federal funds to help them get material needed, because most of the time they arrive quicker to our scene because we're spread out a little bit more due to the fact where the ambulances are. And this helps. We were getting there within the 6 to 8 minutes that are really responding. It just takes a little bit for the ambulance to get there, depending on traffic and other factors that are getting there. But and that came to light that we're there to get a response, and then the ambulance is there to help them get there to where they need to go. But a lot of the calls, 3% of them are life-threatening, a really small amount, and they stay within that time frame. What I'd really like to talk about is just to make sure that everybody understands, like, if we can get in there some type of report, city manager, that shows these response times are being met under the 10 minutes that we're asking, even if it's 8 minutes. Like, some of them were 8, but just for the priority ones that we're really concerned about, the life-threatening ones. A lot of them get treated on the scene, don't have to go to the hospital. There's just a lot of factors, as Commissioner Simmons was saying, that we just can't focus on that. And we also, they had a great slide about customer care. That customer care was at 97%. I mean, it's just, that's a great number that the ambulance service is providing that kind of care from the respondents at 97%, that they were satisfied with the service that they got. So we can't just focus on how fast we get there. We need to make sure that we're giving the care that's needed in arriving. So I will be voting yes on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Morris.
Thank you for your presentation, because I went into the workshop completely saying that I was going to be voting no on this. But from the information that I learned in the workshop, I do still want to, before moving forward with this, I know that data is something that already has to be collected as a part of this process. But you so eloquently put it, can we disaggregate the data for the priority one responses so that that can be separate and we can review that over the 2 years of this contract?
Certainly, Commissioner, we can work with Life Care to figure out a way to do that.
Okay, so does that mean that we can't move forward with this, or is that something that can just, you know, be added on because it's already reporting and we just need to be specific about what we would like?
I can't speak for Life Care. I think Ron's nodding his head that certainly they would work with us to, you know, without necessarily suggesting that we modify language, that they would work to us to get the information to the commission in a format that's approvable to you.
Thank you. As long as we can monitor that priority one data, I am in support of this contract.
Any other commission comment? Seeing none, would you please vote on
He timed
Resolution
out.
87, and our system just went down.
The mayor's screen timed down.
It's back up now. Resolution 87 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 128.
The city owns the Jackson Street parking lot downtown. Consumers Energy Company seeks to enter into a permanent easement with the city for the purpose of installing and maintaining duct banks, a vault, and equipment as described in the attached easement agreement. This resolution, if approved, authorizes the interim city manager to execute the attached agreement granting Consumers Energy Company, a Michigan corporation, a permanent easement in, under, across, and through a portion of city-owned property on West Michigan Avenue, identified as parcel number 52-0253-00-038-0, or one in substantially similar form approved by the city attorney.
Move to approve Resolution 128.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 128. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 128? Resolution 128 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 129. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
If approved, this resolution, in accordance with the revised flag policy, hereby authorizes staff to fly the pride flag at City Hall from July 1, 2025 through July 30, 2025. This request comes to the City Commission by way of Commissioner Morris with the support of Commissioner Lance and Mayor Banky.
Move to approve Resolution 129.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 129. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns by the commission? Commissioner Vice Mayor Sophia.
Thank you, Mayor. As I have stated numerous times in the past, I was opposed to the flag ordinance when it was adopted, and I have consistently voted against every single flag that has been brought before the commission during my tenure, and so I will be voting against this resolution this evening.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Reynolds, did you have? No? No? Okay. Any other commission comments? Commissioner Simmons.
I'd like to wish happy anniversary, Charlie.
Thank you,
No,
Commissioner.
can I also say, flag or no flag, whether we would fly it or not, it breaks my heart to hear that people feel unsafe in our community or not welcomed. And if there's anything that's within our purview as city commissioners, and would love to see everyone that's here tonight at all of the meetings throughout the rest of the year as well. Please be engaged with all the processes that we're involved in. So thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments?
No,
Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
thank you, Mayor. It is a very controversial moment here to make this vote, but I think, I like the comment earlier, but we have another poll or something different. We need to look into this. We don't need division over that. It saddens me when I go on Facebook and it sounds like we, the city commission, don't care about the LGBTQ community or the pride, or we're against it because we vote one way or another. That's not true. There's a lot of us. I'm just going to speak for myself. You really don't know the person of who I am, but to go out there on Facebook and to make comments about people you don't know, that kind of upsets me and myself. If you just want to talk, I'm always willing to listen and try to support in any way possible. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 129? Resolution 129 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 130. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The City of Battle Creek Department of Public Works, in partnership with Jones and Henry Engineers Limited, is preparing an application for funding to improve the city's drinking water system. This project aims to remove and replace lead service lines in compliance with Michigan's lead and copper rule. The proposed improvements will be funded through the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. This resolution, if approved, adopts the final project plan prepared by Jones and Henry Engineers Limited for lead service lines replacement and designates an authorized city project representative.
Move to approve Resolution 130.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 130. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns by the commission? Commissioner Simmons.
So first of all, after our public hearing last time, thank you very much for staff for answering several questions that I had about how this funding would be facilitated. I think the city manager shared with us all a couple of options that we have, and I would encourage my fellow commissioners to communicate with the city manager on which option. The two options were to include that all in our citizens' water bill, or take out a low-interest loan with the hope that a significant portion of that could be waived or received a grant for, and then have a much smaller subsidy from our citizens' water bills. I chose the latter. I communicated that with the city manager. So I'm not sure what other feedback you've had, or if you have direction on that yet.
Yeah, obviously we're very early in the process. I think there was a little confusion at the last meeting too, that we're initiating the process to make application for funds from the Drinking Water Revolving Loan Fund. We don't know what we're going to get. We don't know if we can get a significant enough amount to put a dent in it, as it were. But yes, those are the couple of options that we have available, and there could potentially be obviously real benefits to a low-interest loan that had some principal forgiveness. And so we're going to have to wait to see how this plays out over the next few months once the awards are announced, but then we'll know more then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 130? Resolution 130 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 131. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Via Resolution 160 on July 21, 2020, the Battle Creek City Commission designated a social district pursuant to Public Act 124 of 2020, along with the designation of two common areas, State Street Commons area and the Jackson Street Commons area. At its regular meeting on February 2nd, 2021, the city revised the boundaries of the social district and expanded the State Street Commons area to allow for more participation by eligible licensees. This resolution, if approved, affirms local support for the application submitted by licensee 50 Capitol Avenue Holdings, LLC, to operate under Public Act 124 of 2020 within the expanded State Street Commons area.
Move to approve Resolution 131.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 131. Are there any comments by the commission? Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I'm definitely in favor of this project, or this proposal. I've liked what it's done to Battle Creek. It hasn't turned into drunken brawls or anything like that. It's allowed to open up some extra activities that we need downtown that people enjoy, and if they want to have an adult beverage, that's fine. But it's also brought in so many different unique things in our area, and I've seen it in other areas, and especially Nashville. Quite interesting. If anybody's ever been to Nashville, they open up their windows and their bars, and you can hear music playing all up and down the street. So again, it's just a nice way to keep the downtown vibrant. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 131? Resolution 131 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 132. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This resolution, if approved, affirms the denial of FOIA request number 25-1183. Move to approve Resolution 132.
Support.
It's moved and supported to approve Resolution 132. Are there any comments by the commission? Commissioner LaCosse.
I just wanted to say that the paperwork that Autumn Smith provided to us gives me some reservations on this FOIA, so I would like to get some more investigation into this matter, so I'm going to vote no on this matter today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments? Commissioner Simmons, Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell after that.
Okay, I was wondering if the city attorney was provided a packet like we were provided, if you've had a chance to review that.
I did
Miss-
look at it briefly.
Okay, do you care to comment on that? Because like Commissioner LaCrosse, I
think
there seems to be a discrepancy from what she maintains and what the city maintains.
If I would just direct your attention to the actual FOIA request itself. That FOIA request was for a list of names of the Battle Creek Police Department detectives who use the Signal app to communicate during investigations. What we were informed when we requested that record was that there is no list that's maintained by the Battle Creek Police Department of the detectives who use the Signal app to communicate during investigations. That was the request that was made, and that's the request that was denied.
So, for example, if she changed the wording on the requests to be more reflective to what she's showing here in these examples,
It would be.
Are we nitpicking this here, or?
Well, it would be if a new request were to come in to ask for different records, it would be processed as a new request, and the records requested would be searched for. But in this
As
case,
requested,
what was requested didn't exist, would have required essentially a creation of a compilation or summary. There's no requirement under the Freedom of Information Act that the city generate a record to answer a request. We're only obligated to provide records that exist.
Understood.
Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
So the request was just for the names of the people using this, and we wouldn't be keeping the records of that. Is that what the request is?
The request was for a list names of all of the Battle Creek Police Department detectives who use Signal app to communicate during investigations. So that's what was searched for.
And we don't, in record keeping, we don't really keep names, we keep the records of what police or people do during those communications, and that's not really what was asked for, the communications, it was just the names of the people.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner LaCosse.
So just to clarify one more time, so we don't keep track of any apps that they're using to communicate? There's no records for that then?
I can't say for any applications, but I can say
Specifically for Signal?
we're informed that there was no record of who uses the Signal app.
Okay. Thank you, that clarifies some things.
Okay, any other comments or questions or concerns about yes, Commissioner Smith.
So is the Signals app, that's something that the city uses on a regular basis? I'm just not sure what that is, I guess.
I mean, I'm not entirely certain myself, but I understand it's a messaging app based on stories in the news. As to what the various departments, if at various departments sanction their use or keep records of that, all we can say is that the police department does not keep a record of who uses that application.
Commissioner LaCosse.
Is there anything in the rules about them using this specific app?
With respect, that would be a question to direct at Chief Bagley.
There's no departmental rule that outlines what app that you use.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments by the commission? Commissioner Smith.
I guess for Chief Bagley. So are they able to use any app for communications pertaining to personal business matters then?
No, that would be through their email.
Okay, so I guess then,
Well, ask your question again.
well, what I'm saying is, so they're okay to use the Signals app to communicate business matters of the city, because it appears that that's what's taken place?
So it would be to advise, we get a call out of, let's say a homicide took place. That message would go out to detectives about CJIS protected information specific to what happened, who was involved, and some information so that as they're going out to investigate, they have a baseline for that. Other than that, that's all it's used for. Any reports or anything like that is all done on departmental equipment.
But, okay, so, but you're saying that is okay to be used for the Signals app?
For us right now, yes.
But you're not keeping a record of any personal?
We don't keep a record of who, there's no list or record that we have of who's on it. It's the command officer or the sergeant within that unit uses it because it's the easiest method to do a mass communication of an event.
Commissioner Lacoste.
This is for the city attorney. Is there any issues with them using this app for FOIA requirements?
No, but not for the reason that you're likely to think about. And I guess if you wanted more information about that, I'd be happy to provide you guys with a written legal opinion as to why that's the case, but I wouldn't necessarily want to discuss that in an open meeting.
Thank you.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you. So there is a lot of information here, and we're trying to all figure this out. At least that's what I'm hearing from everybody. Is there a date that we have to work on this FOIA request denial? Is it today only, or can we postpone it to the next meeting to get more information and make us all feel comfortable in making the correct decision?
I guess the FOIA statute requires that it be done within a certain period of time after the FOIA request is received. That's deemed received today because today, no, that actually would be today because it was deemed received, I believe it was received right before your last meeting, so it would have been deemed received on May 6th, if I remember the date correctly. I believe this body could extend that if it chose and wanted to consider it further. I think the way to do that would just be to amend the resolution to essentially take advantage of the extension that's permitted under statute. But it would have to be done by this body's next meeting on June the 3rd, I believe.
So the next question I ask is if we deny the request, the requester can submit a much more precise FOIA that they would like?
Yes, I'll just say that requester has a number of options under the Freedom of Information Act, and if she wanted to consult with an attorney, that an attorney could advise her as to what her options were.
It just seems like there's a lot of information here that we're trying to digest, and that's how I feel right now, Commission.
Commissioner Simmons.
So there's two issues here, and the FOIA, which I think he answered that our response to the FOIA is we don't maintain this list. That's pretty cut and dry to me now. It wasn't before. Then whether or not we should be using this secure messaging app is like a completely different discussion that we can have at some other point. It's been in the national news as well. So I've used it. It is a secure message app, but we just use it in my military duty for planning where we're going to lunch. And we don't conduct official business on it because of, well, the problems that we saw at the federal government. So thank you.
Any other commission comment? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 132? The motion failed. Next item on our agenda is general public comment. If you'd like to make general public comment regarding matters over which the City Commission has control, please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address prior to beginning your comment. David Moore, please.
My name is David Moore. I missed last week's meeting on this drinking water being changed, recapping of these pipes. I'm glad, I've been saying this quite often, worried about. We push these things too fast and take accurate time to make a good study on it. Maybe we need a couple of meetings on some of this stuff, like this last proposal. Take time to think about it. Have another meeting to talk about it. And sometimes I think we push these things too fast. I know sometimes you want to have it right on the first meeting, get it done, get it passed. But it's the money that's involved in it. It's going to matter a lot of people. It's going to, for several years. And I watched that TV on that last week on these water pipes. And they were just take the accurate time that we need to take. I think we should slow it down a little bit and maybe take the time that we need to take. Sometimes it's being pushed too fast. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Yes.
My name is Alex. My name is Alex. My partner and I have at various points lived and worked in Battle Creek, but we currently live just outside of Penfield. I hope it's okay if I speak. I wanted to educate some of the city council members who might not be familiar with the Signal app a little bit more about it. It's an end-to-end encrypted app, which means that if both users are using it and both of them delete their chats, it's gone. It's gone forever. There's no record of it. There is also a way to set the app to automatically delete messages anywhere from after 1 hour all the way up to a couple of weeks. So public servants using this app to discuss public business is essentially intentionally obfuscating what they are talking about from the public. It's the modern digital equivalent of another common police phenomenon of covering up body cameras or muting them, for example. I have worked, unfortunately, in the past as a police dispatcher. I know that officers frequently use regular old text messages, called me on the phone when they wanted to tell me something that they didn't want aired over the radio. So I think especially detectives using an app like Signal, much like we saw in the controversy of the Defense Department on a national level using the Signal app, I think it should be very controversial that public servants, especially the police department, who should be held to the highest standard of all, frankly, are using this app to intentionally obfuscate the things that they are discussing. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Joan Marshall, 1004 Capitol Avenue Southwest. I'm deeply concerned about the actions of our current police chief, who appears to be engaging in retaliatory behavior against a retired police officer, my son. Not only is this individual being denied their rightful LEOSA privileges, but their personal safety is being compromised as a result. This kind of abuse of power undermines public trust and demands immediate investigation and accountability. No one who served honorably should be treated this way. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Trustee Leonard, please.
So the resolution to approve flying the flag in July, I want to commend the two commissioners that voted no on that. I think you showed integrity and care for doing what is right and not what you're feeling is right personally. I want to commend you. You showed courage. I've got a lot of respect for you. For those of you that voted yes to allow the flag, I do not have words for any of you. I think you need to start walking the walk, some of you.
I expected a few of you to vote no, but not a few of you others. So I'm just, don't usually do this, but ungodly disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. There's a young man here that's running for U.S. Congress, and I know that he graduated from Battle Creek Central. Would you like to speak for just a minute or two, just to get people to know you? Or if you don't want to, you don't have to. Thank you very much.
Good morning, or good afternoon. My name is Diop, 35 Magnolia here, Battle Creek, Michigan. Was not intending on doing this, but if the mayor asked me to. My name is Diop Harris. Born and raised here. I'm running for Congress for this seat, the 4th Congressional District. You'll see me all over town. Give this dude a shot. I'm going to be launching my sorry to get into politics, but I'm going to be launching my campaign at the Juneteenth Family Festival on the 21st here in Battle Creek at Claude Evans Park. I'm not going to go any more than that because I don't want to get into campaigning, but keep a lookout for me. Thanks.
I saw you on a scooter the other day, and I thought that was great.
That's how I get around town.
Autumn Smith. Then we'll go over here. Deanna.
Autumn Smith, Battle Creek. Thank you for reversing the denial. I think a lot was said with the Signal app. How would we ever know if police reports are being used or utilized on there when they're self-deleting and you have the list of the people, command staff, naming the chat, as you could see, DB, which stands for Detective Bureau, delete, being told to delete that chat. How would we ever know what is going on when it's self-deleting? To follow up with what the previous woman that spoke just before me said, yes, once again, we are witnessing retaliation against whistleblowers by this commission and by the police chief. This isn't the first time this mother has had to stand before you pleading for the safety of her son, an officer targeted for speaking the truth. It's disgraceful. Have you not learned anything? How many more careers need to be destroyed? Have you not learned from the previous departure of Jackie Hampton, Jim Saylor, Marie Alonzo, Ken Tushiyama, and numerous other city and police personnel when corruption was exposed by myself and this whistleblower years ago? Do you not see nor care about the damage, the corruption and retaliation that you allow has caused? You've already lost valuable police personnel because of your actions. Shame on all of you for enabling this toxic and dangerous culture. It appears Mr. Shannon Bagley is vying to be one of the shortest tenured police chiefs in Battle Creek history. Thank you.
Yes, Deanna.
Good evening, Dina Spencer again, and I'll make this really short and sweet. I want to first say thank you to the Commission for passing this flag resolution, and I also want to offer conversations for those of you that voted no, and any of you, quite honestly, if you ever want to have a conversation with us, learn about us, get to know us, and just understand who we are. That's always on the table, and that's always open, and we're always available. So thank you.
Tommy? You don't have to speak.
Okay, I'm going to introduce myself this time. Tommy Aileen Morris. I live at 18 Christie Road here in Battle Creek, just off Capitol, southwest. My only comment for the apps that you use to talk and communicate with, if you're not saving anything, then you are hiding something that's happening. You're hiding it.
Make your comments towards me, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. But if you're hiding something that bad, then you shouldn't even be in any type of office or anything else for the public. I'm sorry, I get caught because I know how easy it is to do things on the internet and get rid of the evidence of it. And if an app that is already set up to do that, then you shouldn't be using it for any business for the public at all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Charlie?
Charlie Fulbright, Battle Creek, Michigan. So since I'm here, I feel like every year I do this, but this is my last year as the parade coordinator for the Pride Parade in Battle Creek. And so I'm asking the city commission, the city of Battle Creek to walk in the parade. When we first did it, like 7 years ago, you guys did, but haven't done it since. And the Battle Creek Police Department does it, the Battle Creek Fire Department does it. I would love for my last year being the parade coordinator to have the City Commission and the City of Battle Creek walk in the parade. That's Friday, July 18th at 7 p.m. right downtown Battle Creek. I also want to thank you all for the yes vote to raise the flag, and I would also like to give an invitation for the dissent voters to speak with me. I'm an open book. I would love to have a conversation with you. I feel conversation moves everything forward, and I'm very open to different opinions and just listening to you guys. So if you want to talk, my information's everywhere. I don't know. I'm all over. And then lastly, once a Bearcat, always a Bearcat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other, yes, Phoenix Adams.
I just wanted to thank you for approving the vote to put the flag up. I also am very concerned about what's going on with Signal, especially as every application like that is going to have its own internal list of who gets what. If you have a group chat, if you have a distribution list, there are records in the server somewhere. Otherwise, I hope to see you all at Pride. I know I was the one that brought the Republicans to the parade that first year, so I'm going to see if I can get some of you guys to come out again. It'll be fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, good evening. My name is Charlene Van Leeuwen. I currently have a mailing address of 236 North Bedford, but I reside with my mother, who is 91, at 5261 Redwood Boulevard. There we don't have a water bill. I don't like their water the way they do it, but it is what it is. And their management company gets the water bills and all communication. So when I was watching meetings online, which I do on Yahoo, they were talking about the water and the contamination and everything, and it didn't dawn on me because they were talking about Emmett Township having the highest levels of this TTHM. I don't know Emmett Township. I'm still fairly new. I'm still getting better at it, but I don't know Emmett Township, Penfield. It's all townships. I know Battle Creek. So at our NPC meeting, I learned when I got the actual letter that was put in the mailers that Emmett Township has the highest levels of this chemical. With those of us that have compromised health issues, which I do and my mother does, it didn't dawn on me that we have to be careful. So we are now boiling our water. I'm boiling it for 20 minutes. I'm running it through filters. I'm going through a filter more often than not because I'm constantly running water through the filters. It's just a lot of work. I should just be able to drink the water out of the faucet. So my question is, because we don't get notifications, we don't get letters, all we get is from meetings and listening to the meetings here, is how can those that do not have internet, do not go to the NPC meetings, do not watch TV, do not come down here, how can they be notified if they're a renter or they don't have a water bill? Because their management company handles it, and they're never notified. I did ask my management company if they were notified. They were told no. So they reached out to the people that handle the bills. They didn't receive any notifications. And I asked again today, because I knew I was coming here today, just to validate had they received it or not. Oops. Also, and what I would like to know, if someone can get back to me, is what is the impact and time frame of drinking the water with those that have health issues and impaired immune systems and things that can be damaged? I already had cancer. I don't want it again. Thank you.
All right, ma'am, if you fill out a card that's in the back of the room, you'll be able to get a response.
Thank you.
All right? Yes. Reese Atkins.
Good evening, Reese Atkins, 84 South 23rd Street. I don't know who this needs to go to, but I travel Columbia Avenue every day, more than once. It's a primary transport for me. They are currently doing work on the bridge area. Glad to see they're doing work on the bridge, but there needs to be something done with the flow of traffic going through there, because there are times, no matter whether it's early morning, midday, evening, where I go through there, and there are times where I have to set through 3 and 4 lights at those at that intersection, because people are making left-hand turns, and with the way the traffic is flowing, you have to sit there. There is no way for you to go out and around and keep going straight. For the ones that are going straight, you have to sit there and let all this traffic come this way, then the car make the right-hand turn before you can even go through that light. So it's very stressful and very slow going through those lights, because they're allowing people to make left-hand turns with only one lane. I think that when they do the construction of these bridges, which is, I'm glad to see, they need to make those intersections no left turns and make them right turns only, because that will speed up the flow of traffic. It will speed up the ability of traffic going in through there for people going to work, because twice a day I travel that to take my wife to work, because she's working in Marshall now. So it's something that whoever designs this stuff when they're doing this construction needs to look at, because that traffic is flowing extremely slow. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Sarah Johnson, 21 Thornapple Drive. I just had a comment about the water also. I appreciated the communication about the water. I thought it was really clear, and I understood then like how the contamination got in there and what the process is for getting rid of it. I did have a thought after the last speaker about that. It said, you know, if you're an infant, or if you have health complications, then you should be worried about the water, do something about it, but there was no direction on what to do. So it meant like each person who is in that situation is then doing their own research and trying to figure out their own way to stay safe. And so some direction on that might be helpful, because there's a whole mess of different communication on the internet. Like, I thought I wasn't supposed to boil the water because it will vaporize into the air and then you may inhale that stuff. And so, like, I don't know if I did incorrect research or what, but some kind of direction for those of us that do need to take care of it would be helpful. Thank you.
Ma'am, if you fill out a card in the back room,
I meant like for
we'll
the
have
public,
someone get
not
back
just
to you.
personally, but.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes.
Josh Smith, Battle Creek. I would like to make a comment about the signal thing. I think there should be an investigation into that. Even if there isn't a list maintained on department letterhead, if these chats are being done through department resources on department phones, the ones that have them have the list. They have the chat right there. There's no reason they shouldn't have access to the list of names. They should be available. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, John.
John Kenefick, 234 South Avenue. It's interesting when people or governments hide things. I'm going to give you some things that were hidden. First of all, I suggest to the public that you should look up the USS Maddox incident, M-A-D-D-O-X. That's what President Johnson used as an excuse to get deeper into Vietnam with the Gulf of Tonkin resolution. Only in the 2000s was the information released about what happened with the USS Maddox. 57,000 U.S. troops died in Vietnam. For what? Turns out we weren't supposed to be there. It was an excuse to get in there. Let's use another incidence of lying to the public. The second time we went to Iraq. Why, they had weapons of mass destruction. They had nuclear capability. They didn't. And one of the main people that were lying to the public was General Colin Powell. He later regrets that he said those words about weapons of mass destruction, even though he knew at the time it wasn't true. Next, we have the water situation in Battle Creek. Everyone gets this notification. It tells everyone that the poisonous level of that poison is well, excuse me, I want to apologize, I wanted the numbers correctly. Way over the minimum standards in the 4 areas. Even in Penfield, it's double the minimum standards of the poison level, not set by us, but set by the government. And we are told it's okay to drink, but it could be cancerous, and by the way, you might want to see a doctor, and we've estimated about this in 2022. More lies and discrimination without people actually looking into it. There's been a dispute between Adolf Hitler and George Goebbels. He was Hitler's propaganda minister. The saying goes, the big lie. When a government keeps lying and lying and lying over and over, people accept it as the truth. The enemy of the government and its propaganda is the truth, and the government must fight against that with all its will and might, because you do not want people to know the truth. Here today, we've had this situation where freedom of information was given, not given. Does it make a difference? What blanket do you do? What do you cover up, and how many people have to suffer from it? When government does this, it's not an open government. It is only acting in its own self-serving interest. Thank you.
Any other comments at this time? Seeing none, any commission comments? Commissioner Patrick O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, last week we had some really bad weather, and I want to just thank the city for going out and cleaning up the neighborhoods and getting everybody safe and prepared. And I still know there's some areas that don't have power, and there's a reason for that. We were hit by a pretty good tornado, took out a lot of utilities. I want everybody to be safe out there. Putting the power back together sometimes takes, as you can tell, a lot of time, because it has to be done, and it has to be done correctly. So just please give them their leeway, and be ready for when we're going to come through with the city to come pick up the debris in the front yards. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments at this time? Commissioner Lacoste.
I also wanted to recognize City DPW for their work in debris removal. Sometimes we're not able to get in there right away until we get that clear from consumers, just so everyone knows and understands that. Also, as far as the TTHM levels, it is my understanding that boiling is not the way to go about it, but if you leave it on your counter for 24 hours, the TTHM levels will dissipate that way. So if you want to just put some on your counter, that's like the better alternative to do that. If you're going to go with filters, Brita and Pure do not work. You have to use the Amway filters or the Aquasana filters. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments? Commissioner Simmons.
So I do want to make a note about that. The letter that went out, I actually received that as well. There was some guidance on there if you have a specific medical condition to consult your, because I mean, there are thousands of different conditions. Talk to your own doctor. If you don't have those resources, I'm sure that we don't have a health department in the city, but the county has a county public health department. Maybe it would be another good resource for people to reach out to for some specific guidance.
Yeah, the county health department has been very willing to assist. And there's a Department of Health and Human Services hotline in the letter as well for those that have safety concerns.
Any other commission comments? Commissioner Smith.
I just wanted to thank the city, piggybacking off of them for the quick recovery from the storms that we had, and also Consumers Energy and our out-of-state counterparts with consumers. We had a lot of Port Huron guys in my area, and they did fantastic. They are doing, good work, so just would like to thank them.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? See none, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you for attending tonight.
Yeah, that's all the information that I found is accurate.